Most people using Claude are running at maybe 10% of what it can actually do. They copy information from one tab, paste it into Claude and ask a question, then go back to the other tab and do work manually. And that's fine if Claude is just a smarter version of Google for you, but if you're running a business or trying to use Claude to actually make money, you're missing out on the other 90% of what it can do. And it's the really powerful stuff that can actually move the needle for you. So today, I'm going to show you how to turn Claude into the command center for your entire workflow, all using something called connectors. Finding leads, researching prospects, even building or shipping tools for yourself or your clients, all without leaving the chat. And by the end of this video, you're going to watch me build a lead magnet for a real business and push it live to a public shareable URL, all in just a couple minutes, and all in a single chat session. I help business owners, entrepreneurs, and just regular people turn AI into actual revenue. If that sounds like you, come join my school community of over 3,000 members doing this for real. You'll learn how to actually find clients, sell things that they want to buy, and close them. And you'll get access to me to get all of your questions answered. The link is down below. All right, now let's dive in. All right, so if you've never used the connectors in Claude, it's going to change your life, not to be dramatic, but you can kind of think of the connectors, like the MCP connectors, as a way for Claude, which is acting as your brain, your intelligence, the AI model behind what you're doing, to interact with various tools, but you're still staying in the Claude platform. And so this is extremely helpful so that you're not having to toggle in between different tabs or visit different platforms. You can do everything all in one place, pull information from different applications all into Claude, and then have Claude analyze it, build things off of it, do all kinds of different things. So that's the benefit of using the connectors versus, just going to all the different platforms themselves. So we're going to come over here to customize, and then we're going to go to connectors. So what I'm going to be showing you first is we're going to be doing a little bit of work with Clay. If you've never used Clay, it's basically like prospecting on steroids. So you can find leads, enrich them with all kinds of information. It's really a robust system. So regardless of the type of work that you're doing or the outreach that you're doing, who you're trying to get a hold of, Clay can just do all kinds of amazing things. So we're going to come over here to add and then browse connectors. I'm going to type in Clay and click connect. Okay, and you do need to have a Clay account. You can have a free account to start, and then there are paid accounts as well. So I'm going to just connect it to my workspace and authorize it. Alrighty, so now I am connected to Clay. If I come here and press this plus button and come over to connectors, we can see that Clay is connected for this chat session. So I'm just going to tell Clay, give me a list of 5 HVAC business owners, CEOs, or presidents in California with between 10 and 50 employees. Please use the Clay connector for this. Okay, and now it's asking me for permission. I'm going to always allow. Okay, and so now it's come up with a list of companies for me. So I can reach out to him on LinkedIn. I can run an enrichment and actually get his email address. All right, and then I have my next result. So a president and a VP working at Patriot Air Systems in Camarillo. But what's cool about the Clay MCP is that it's interactive. So I can get work email, summarize work history, find thought leadership. So this is really helpful for more in-depth personalized lead research before you reach out to prospects. All right, the next connector that I want to show you is, let's come back over here, go to connectors. So this one is actually a custom integration. And so rather than browsing the connectors, we're going to come to add custom connector here. All right, and now it's asking us for a name and the remote MCP server URL. So the other connector I'm going to show you is Railway. So I came here to railway.com/MCP. If you're wondering if a particular service or platform that you use, an application, has an MCP, you could just Google that platform name and MCP or ask ChatGPT to look it up for you. But I'm going to go ahead and take this HTTPS mcprailway.com and come back over to my connectors. And if you're not familiar with Railway is basically just a platform for hosting web apps. And so what's really cool about this connector is I can build something in Claude. So think of an artifact like a savings calculator that an HVAC company can use as a lead magnet for their customers. Anything that you can think of that could be built with Claude Web, I can deploy to Railway so that it's a live web app, and then I can share that publicly available URL so that anybody can visit that URL and check out what it is that I built them. So let's go ahead and add this. Okay, and so now it's asking for my authorization. I'm just going to click authorize. Okay, so now I'm going to build a really cool artifact right here in Claude. I don't need to, use Claude Code or Claude Design or anything like that. And I'm going to deploy it live to a web app, which I can then share with a business owner. Please create a lead magnet for an HVAC business. It should be a savings calculator that they can share with prospective customers so that the customers can better understand the savings that they would experience on their heating and cooling if they upgraded to a new, more efficient system. Please ensure there are no external dependencies and that this can be built in a single self-contained HTML file. Okay, so now Claude is going to build me this lead magnet for an HVAC business. It's going to be a savings calculator that the business can send to their prospective customers, use it as a sales tool. And in fact, when I was working at the insulation company that I used to work for, this was something that our sales manager actually used in the customers' homes when he was doing his sales presentation. So these things are definitely valuable. And the reason why we want to ensure that there are no external dependencies and that this can be built in a single self-contained HTML file is that way we can deploy it straight from Claude Web to Railway. So let's go ahead and send that off. All right, and here is the calculator that Claude came up with. So it's giving us options in terms of the new unit that gets installed, the heating type, and it calculates the savings for the user. So we can also add basically a lead capture system here. Now I can obviously customize this, change the phone number to a real business. And if I were reaching out to a new business or if I were working with a business, I'd make sure it has all their correct information. But obviously this is just a demo. So I can download this as HTML and this will work here in the browser. So, I can just make up numbers. Here in Fresno, it's hot, so we're cooling most months out of the year and it's 15 years old. We want to upgrade to top tier. All right, so everything works. So this is great. The HTML file looks nice. But obviously what would be way more effective and sexier would be to actually deploy this so that it's a publicly available URL that I could send to somebody. I can text it to them, do whatever. And that way they're able to access it anywhere without having to open an HTML file. Okay, and so to do that, I'm going to ask Claude to deploy it to Railway. Can you please deploy this to Railway? Okay, and Claude is seeing that I don't have any projects that are already tied to this. And so it's going to create a new project for me. And with these permissions that pop up, you can actually change these back where we added the connector and customize and give it the permissions to always allow certain types of behaviors. One thing I would caution you is that if it's like a read behavior, so the Claude is asking to go to the application and read some information, that tends to be just fine. But you may, for sensitive projects where you're not wanting to overwrite something or, have an accident happen like that, it might be good to keep those permissions that Claude has to check with you every time. But I'm going to go ahead and click always allow. All right, so the deploy is uploading and Claude is checking on it. This is also really cool if you deploy a project or even if you have GitHub connected and are deploying projects from GitHub to Railway. And let's say your site is down and you're not able to access the URL, you can just ask Claude to go in and troubleshoot, find what the issue is and see if Claude can fix it. So super convenient. Okay, so now the project is deployed to Railway. And so if I come over here, I just clicked on the project, came to settings, and then click on this public networking link. And now I have my lead magnet or the business's lead magnet set up right here. Now, keep in mind that these are only a couple of all of the possible MCP servers that you can connect to. So there's a bunch that come native to Claude and you can scroll all of them here. There's a ton. There's also this really helpful GitHub repo, which gives you a bunch by category. And these are all available through Claude's front end, through Claude Web, so that you can use them through Claude, just like I showed you in the custom connector setup. But I just want you to think about what you could actually use these connectors for. Like you could connect Stripe and create a dashboard for a client wherein they can check on upcoming payments that are due for subscriptions or failed payments so that they can reach out to that person via email. You can also use the Gmail connector to then send an email to anyone that has a failed payment. You can connect to meta ads via a custom connector, and that way you're able to check on how your meta ads are doing or check on how a client's meta ads are doing. But the sky is really the limit with what you can do with these MCPs. And there it is, a working savings calculator, live on a public URL that I could text to a business owner right this second. And that's the whole point of this. I could hand that link to a real HVAC company, and they could pull it up with a real customer sitting at their kitchen table during a real sales presentation. And I know this for a fact because I pretty much built this exact thing for the insulation company that I used to work with, and our sales manager used it all the time to close deals. So let's recap what we just did, all inside of one Claude chat. 1, we used the Clay connector to pull up a list of real HVAC prospects in California and ready to be enriched for outreach. 2, we set up Railway as a custom connector and deployed a client-ready lead magnet live, straight from Claude Web. And here's what I want you to think about. Clay and Railway are just 2 connectors. There are dozens more sitting in that menu right now, and hundreds available overall. You could wire up Stripe and build a client a dashboard that flags every failed subscription payment. Then connect Claude to Gmail and have Claude email those customers for them. Or you could plug into meta ads and check a client's ad performance, all without ever opening the ads manager. The sky is literally the limit here, and most Claude users are still just using it to answer basic questions. So if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or just a regular person that wants to turn AI into real revenue, come join my school community of over 3,000 members doing that exact thing for real. You'll learn how to actually find clients, sell things to them that they want to buy, and actually close them. And you'll get access to me for whatever questions you might have. The link is down below. And do me a favor and drop a comment if you want a deeper dive into MCPs and how you can use them to solve real business problems. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.